Hi guys, hope everyone is doing well on this Tuesday night. I just want to bring a new one today to you guys, and it's basically why you should be looking and trying to get commercial garden work, which I think is the key and really the big thing you need to grow and expand your business and give you that stable income. So a few things, let's look at residential work. So what I've done is, guys, I've just put a few things together that we're going to look at for residential work, and then we're going to jump straight into commercial, and I'll try and keep this video as short and to the point as I can. So negative points, guys, for residential work: difficult customers. We've all dealt with them, and don't get me wrong, you can deal with them as well in commercial work, but you're dealing with a lot more customers than when you're doing residential work. The truth is, you're just going to find more negative people. That's just a maths, it's a simple equation, you know. And we've dealt with a lot of difficult customers at the start, particularly when we were doing residential work. Of course, the big thing is, guys, a lot of residential work finishes at the end of the growing season. So come, you know, October, first week in November, you have basically no more work left with that client. You are finished. You also then have restrictions, guys, on when, you know, you can possibly do the job, as in, you know, some of our commercial clients, we could rock up late at night, or we could go very early in the morning. You know, you won't have that same flexibility with your residential clients. That's just another thing. And then, of course, you know, with the economy downturns and recessions, you know, with your residential clients, as there's no contract, then you are more likely to be dropped when things financially get hard on that family. So that's just another thing. And some of the pros, guys, for residential work, of course, you will be paid when you do the job, so you're paid on the day. Remember that, guys, you should always be paid for residential domestic work on the day. Don't wait for a day or two later, unless you really know them and you've built up a good rapport with that person. You get paid when you do the job, so on the day. Of course, for other good things about residential work is, guys, equipment wise, you don't need the latest, the best. And commercial equipment, you can get away with some used stuff. You can get away with some home store bought lawnmowers, hedge cutters, trimmers. You don't need to spend a whole lot of money, guys, on equipment. And that's of course great. So let's look at commercial work now, guys, and I'll chat about that for a little while. So what are the negatives about commercial work? Well, it is highly competitive. You know, all the biggest businesses and biggest companies in the world that do maintenance on a commercial scale, you know, that's how they grow. They don't grow that size from doing, you know, residential work. It's all these large scale contracts that they make quite a lot of money off, you know. Biggest negative with commercial work, guys, is the equipment. So, you know, when you go from residential to commercial equipment, that's where prices really can go skyrocketing, and that is where, you know, you really have to have the contracts that are going to pay for that machine. You know, for example, you wouldn't spend 20,000 on a machine if your contract is worth 3,000 a year. It wouldn't be a great return. You really have to have sufficient work in order to invest in these machines, but they do last, and they are built to run every day, 7 days a week. But do not buy one unless you're using that machine 7 days a week. You know, for you, if you buy that machine and use it 1 day a week, then you're at a huge loss. If it's not making you money, it's a liability, guys. It's as simple as that. Negative work for commercial is also the point that it is a box ticking exercise. It's a lot more strict. There can be penalties if you don't get the work done on time. Stuff can be checked. It can be a little bit more difficult in that sense than residential work. Just now, we personally haven't really dealt with that much, but I do know people that do have difficult commercial clients, and they can be quite a pain to deal with. Biggest thing, guys, is cash flow. So if you have staff, you have big expenses, etc., you need to plan that accordingly, because anyone will tell you that do commercial work, that getting paid can take several weeks or a month or more, depending on the payment run by from that company. This is just how it is. All invoices are generally settled within 29, 30 odd days, but you know, we have been months waiting to get paid from some clients. You will get paid, but unfortunately it can take a long time to see that money, so you have to be good with planning and financially forecasting. and being able to get through those periods where you haven't received a check yet. Just bear that in mind. So after all that, guys, let's quickly look at the pros for commercial work. So the pros are ability to grow and expand. You know, really the value that you can make in commercial work, guys, is beyond what you'll ever make in residential work, and that's the truth. You know, to give you some context, when we first started this business a few years ago, we actually had a commercial contract before we had a residential one, and that contract was for covering 6 sites a week. If you do check my other video, guys, on our journey on starting a garden business, I actually discussed this and how we got it and how we started this business. Please do watch it. But anyway, we cut 6 sites a week for this client, and we done it all basically in 5 hours. It was every week, and for those 5 hours we would get €1,000. So, you know, you're talking for the month for doing, you know, picking up over €4,000 for basically the equivalent of 4 days work, you know, even less. So very good money. You know, the truth is you're not really going to get that in residential work, certainly not regularly and continuously. You know, you would get some big residential jobs, one-offs, but you won't get that regular capital, and that money we could guarantee on every month. So it was great for a small business like ours at the time. Of course, the other great thing about the commercial workers, guys, is 12 months. You know, your payments for, unlike a lot of residential work, as I said, comes October, November, you've no work. Then come December, January, you're struggling to try and, you know, get that income. The commercial work gives you that paycheck every month, and that's the beauty of it. What you get paid in July is the same way you get paid in January, as it's generally all equal installments spaced out over the 12 months. So amazing. That's the way you scale, that's the way you grow a business, guys, you know. So amazing in that sense. Of course, there's always loads of options to throw in extra work and do extra work, you know. We do a lot of power washing for clients, we do a lot of icing throughout the winter. These are all things that, you know, we generally get paid extra for. You know, we could throw in a minimum amount for the client, but you always generally exceed that, and then you simply pay for that visit each time. And guys, you can make several hundred to several thousand for some of these extra jobs throughout the year. So it really adds up. But the big thing is, guys, once you get that first commercial contract, the ability then to ultimately get more is what makes it amazing, you know. They say the hardest thing about getting $1 million is actually reaching the first 100,000. Well, amazingly enough, but when it comes to the commercial work, once you have your first commercial contract, it's easier then generally to get your second one, your third one, your fourth one, because you have that reference. A lot of commercial work, guys, particularly in Ireland anyway, will want a reference from a similar or a comparable contract you've done. So I find once you get your foot in the door, you can grow, you can expand, and you can try and seek more commercial work. Our business, guys, at this moment is pretty much 90% commercial. We are really mainly a commercial maintenance business. We do very little residential work, and again, some people have different opinions on commercial versus residential, but in our case, it's how you grow, it's how you expand, it's how you compete and be ultimately at the top of the pyramid, if that's what you want. So yeah, guys, so that's pretty much my synopsis of commercial work. If you're starting a business, you're in a business, you try and do all you can to source that commercial contract. And yes, guys, there is people that say that they are penny pinchers and they'll go with the cheapest. They do, but unfortunately, from our experience, you generally will make a lot more going down the commercial route than you will the residential route. As the only pain is trying to follow up payments and that delay payment, from the client. But other than that, guys, once that is settled and embedded and everything is fine, it really is a great way to grow and expand. So how do you get those commercial contracts, guys? Well, that's a little bit more difficult. It depends, of course. Traveling to your local businesses that have sites that need managing is the best thing to do. Introduce yourself, tell them who you are, your local business, you're looking to try and get work. Can you put in a price for to manage the property for next year or whatever it may be? Same with some schools, same with your apartment blocks. You need to try and find out the management agencies, guys, that look after all these, and then contact them and give them your details and see if you can get your foot in the door. and that's what it all comes down to. If you want, guys, I can do a more of a detailed video on trying to source that commercial work if you want, and I'll really list out some of the key things that I would do if I was starting again. Otherwise, guys, I want to keep it short. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like, and thank you all for watching so far. It's great, and I really appreciate the comments. Do let me know your comments and your views, guys, on commercial work versus residential. I always love to know and hear other people's stories. So do share that, please, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye bye.